Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Bay Your Healthy Community Kitchen. My name is Claire, and today I'm going to be showing you another quick tip for breaking down a whole chicken. So we love using whole chickens for an easy weeknight meal, but sometimes you want to break it down into its individual parts for faster cooking, or even if you want to just cook maybe the breasts or the thighs separately. So I'm going to show you how to break this down. First thing we're going to do is take it out of its wrapping, and you can let any juices fall into the sink. So I'm just going to take it out right now. Okay, so I've taken the chicken out of its packaging and I left some of the drippings fall into the sink. Make sure you clean your sink really well after you do that, because you don't want to cross-contaminate anything else that you're cooking later. So we've got our whole chicken. What you'll need is a clean cutting board. You'll need some sharp knives. So I have a large chef knife, but I also have a smaller paring knife. If you have a boning knife at home, that's something that's a little bit more flexible. That can help you get in there a little easier, but a paring knife will work just well. You're gonna need like a pan or a plate just to put all of your chicken parts on once we've cut them up. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is remove our giblets from the inside of our chicken. Some whole chickens don't have them, but if yours do, you wanna make sure you remove them. So you'll find the neck in here, and you might find the kidney and the heart. And you can save this for stock, or you can discard it if you're not going to use it. So we've got those to the side. I'm just gonna put those on my baking sheet. And to get started, we're gonna use our paring knife and we're gonna remove the thigh and the drummies. And to do this, you'll see that there's a little piece of skin that's connecting the thigh to the breast, and we're gonna create a cut just to help loosen that. So now it's loosened, that skin. And this is kind of the fun part. We're actually going to bend the thighs back to help break that joint. So you're gonna hear a little crack, but that is going to help release the thigh from the keel bone and all the rest of the carcass. It's gonna make it really easy to separate them. Now that you've bent it back, you can flip it over, and we're gonna start using our knife. This is where a sharp knife comes into play. So just start helping release some of that skin. And kind of a good guide is making sure you're looking for these little pads of meat. These are called the oyster of the chicken. They're the most delicious part of the chicken, and so I encourage you to try to get those out, but if you miss them, it's totally okay. But it's a really nice guide for you. So we're gonna just work around trying to get that out. And then you're gonna feel the joint. So we wanna go between the two bones, and that's where the joint reaches. Your knife should easily go through that joint. If you're hitting bone at any point, you wanna readjust your knife and try to find that joint. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta kind of move it around a little bit. Here we go. So we've separated our thigh and our drummy from our carcass, and we're gonna set that aside and we're gonna work on the other one. Okay, now that we have our two thighs and our drummies separated, we're just going to separate the drumstick from the thigh. And to do that, really easy again, we wanna find the joint. So it's we wanna find that joint. Kind of make a cut. Using your fingers is a good guide, but it should easily slide through. If you're feeling any resistance, you're probably going through bone and you want to readjust. So now we have our thigh and our drummy, and I'm just going to repeat that with the other one. All right, now that we've separated our thigh and our drummy from the chicken, we're gonna work on the wings. So if you like your wing, there's gonna be the wing and then the wing tip. So you can kind of hold up your chicken like this. And we're going to separate it by just kind of using your knife to loosen that skin, and then do a little bending backwards. So I just literally bent it, and it should release from that joint really easily. And there's your wing. And then you should see this bone sticking out like that. So we're gonna repeat it with this other one. So lift it up, right where you see the end of the wing, reach that bone, kind of where that curve is. Make a cut to release the skin, and then bend backwards. And then you just use your knife to cut through. And if you're gonna be making fried wingies, if you're gonna be making wings, I usually separate the wing tip, but you could definitely use this for stock. So you can always just bend a little bit, or you can make cuts. But all of these parts of the chicken are great for stock. There we go. So I'm just going to put those, and I'll separate the other one. Okay, now we're just left with the breasts, the two breasts, and these are really big, but it's great. So the center bone that's running through the two breasts is called the keel bone. And so what we want to do is create a cut right on the either side of that keel bone that is right next to the breast meat. So we want to make sure we are keeping as much breast meat as possible. So make a cut right through the center, just to cut through that skin. And that's going to help you allow to kind of like see where that meat starts on the bone. Finding your bone, there it is. And then using my knife, I'm just going to make a slit right down just to kind of help start the process. And just trying to stay as close to the bone as possible to help loosen the meat from the bone. And then you can also use your finger if you want to help kind of guide, but I like using the knife. A sharp knife is really nice for this. And we're taking even the tenderloin and the breast with it. There is a wishbone in here, so we want to make sure we're finding that. And just start cutting it away. And there is a whole breast. We're gonna do it on the other side. And I always feel like the second side is a little bit harder just because it's a little uneven. And this seems like a very intimidating task, but once you do it once, it's so simple. And then you can impress anyone that's coming to your house. There we go, got our two breasts. Definitely save this for stock, so good. Set that aside. Now on the back of your breast, you will see that there's the tenderloin, so you can just remove that. You can use a knife, or it should just usually kind of tear right off. That's really good to bread. You can make homemade chicken nuggets or chicken strips for your kiddos. Here we go. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's quick tip and that you learned something new, that you can break down a chicken at home. I encourage you to try this at home, and there is a recipe for an easy baked chicken following this. So we hope you enjoyed today's quick tip, and stay healthy. Thanks.